Glenn's just in a panic, and everybody at his network is shitting themselves. But I love when I love when we get to find out the real purpose, right? We need to know the real story. This is a bit of an idiot palate cleanser.
It's getting a little old. All of
yeah.
You mean Trump's criming? Yeah, I'm sick to shit of it. It's a little old watching you fuckers defend a guy who said you can just grab a woman by the pussy and if you're a star, they let you.
Indictments. I mean, I just like, oh, okay, come on, give me something new.
It's like, okay, you know, Fast and the Furious, and okay, all right, the sequel. Okay, Tokyo Drift seems like you're pushing it a little bit, and now where are we?
Yeah, we're at like...
This is their morning zoo banter, and it's adorable.
Yeah.
Fast X, I think, just came out, which is 10.
So 10.
So
Okay,
we're at
good.
10 now, and it feels like we're going to get there eventually. Something like 91 total charges now against the president. And I mean, I'm torn because it's hard for me to imagine they're going to put a president of the United States in prison.
Oh, they will.
He's not. He's a former president.
But on the other hand, it seems really hard to imagine the government goes 0 for 91 here.
Yeah.
It seems really tough to imagine.
Are you saying that looking at the number of charges that some of them might actually stick, Stu?
They don't get anything out of this?
Right.
So, I mean,
They're just throwing spaghetti at the board.
Yes.
I mean,
Do you throw spaghetti at the board? You throw it against the wall, right, to see what sticks? The board. What board? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not in right-wing media spheres. He means the little board that Ben Shapiro bought at Home Depot.
This is so disgusting and despicable.
Yes, the crimes that Trump committed and his ongoing disregard for law and order in the country and his bragging about being a serial sexual assaulter. I agree. He's a fucking creep.
I mean, this is truly all about two things.
Finally getting a guy like Trump who has dodged responsibility his entire life to face the music.
One.
And two, irritating Glenn.
I don't think it's about stopping Donald Trump from being president. Now, if they can put him in jail, they will.
Mm-hmm.
But he can still run from jail.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and since the last guy that beat him ran from his basement, I maybe he's just trying to steal Biden's campaign strategy.
So I don't think it's about.
Yeah, he's going to run. He beat me running from his basement. I'll beat him from solitary.
That. I think that's gravy to them. That's like, and he's in jail. This is about.
No, I think that's the bare minimum in a lot of ways.
Deflecting all of the trouble of Hunter and Joe Biden.
No. The trouble of Hunter and Joe Biden is smoke to cover the actual indictments of Donald Trump.
This is all about teaching the rest of us a lesson.
Yes, don't steal classified documents. And if you lose an election, leave gracefully and don't foment an insurrection. Is that difficult? Is that too? Should I roll out the chalkboard?
If we can do this to this guy,
then we can do it to anyone who foments an insurrection and tries to take over the U.S. government by force, is a admitted serial sexual assaulter, and steals classified documents and hides them in his shitter. Gosh, are any of us safe?
You think you can survive us? It's a lesson.
No. And by the way, this is his version of that other dickhead that he has on his network who was like effectively saying the FBI sent a kill squad to get the guy who was threatening to murder the president.
But it is also something, and this is
stupid. The stupid idea. The stupid. You're just pulling it out of your ass. Keep thinking. You don't know what you're talking about. You're just filling air. This is one we have rolled up on one of those fucking Glenn Beck segments where he's just talking to get to commercial.
You know how I've always said.
What has he always said? I'm gonna lose my mind.
They self-diagnose.
That's your version of the projection argument.
Mm-hmm. Whatever they say we're doing, they're doing.
I'm sorry. So Democrats just grab women by the pussy? Is that the idea? And they let us because we're a star? We're taking classified documents and fighting returning them when the government asks for them back? We're all lying about the value of our properties to banks and the IRS and engaged in, all right.
They did this with the impeachment.
How?
They impeached Donald Trump because they said he was inappropriate in Ukraine.
No. He was inappropriate, allegedly, in Russia with the whole PP tape thing. He was not inappropriate in Ukraine. He tried to control the Ukrainian government and do something against the will of the Congress. Congress had allocated funds and weapons for Ukraine. He was holding those up, trying to get them to open an investigation he knew was fruitless, but would taint his opponent leading into the election. I don't know how. All right.
With the leader of Ukraine. Okay?
Seems like ancient history.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to believe that that's what this comes back to.
It does.
No, it doesn't.
Comes back to them covering their track. Whatever they said Donald Trump was doing, they were doing.
No. The Democrats did not create a fake slate of electors and try to slip them in a scheme to remove the vice president from his position counting votes, put Chuck Grassley in fucking charge, and have him read false electors into the record so that he could maintain power after he fucking lost.
So
what the fuck are you talking about?
When they said, well, he's a
dumbass, stupid, greasy, grotesque, a stammering dickhead, a lifelong loser. What? Pick your poison.
Obstructing justice, and he's using the Justice Department, against his enemies. That's what it looks like to us. No, that's what they do.
Oh, I mean, another example of this is, remember their reaction to lock her up chant?
Yeah. Yeah, he ran on it. Oh, and by the way, did he? Could he? Why didn't he? Why was he ran on lock her up? Just like he ran on Mexico's going to pay for the wall, and both of those things, fucking goose eggs.
At rallies?
Yes.
This is a banana republic. We don't do this. We don't put our political enemies behind bars. This is America. Do you remember?
Yes, I do.
Because they were chanting it at a rally?
Mm-hmm.
At all the rallies. And he was pushing it.
They got 91 charges against this guy. Where did that go?
Well, he's different.
These aren't related to that. He's not going to be charged for yelling, getting people to yell, lock her up. He's getting charged in part because he coordinated an effort by a bunch of people to decapitate the vice president.
He's different.
That is what they believe. I mean,
they really, truly believe that.
Yeah.
No. I mean, whether he's different or not is immaterial. His actions are different. His engagement in criminal behavior is the different part.
Now, listen to the indictment from yesterday. Defendant Donald J. Trump lost the United States presidential election held on November 3rd, 2020. One of the states he lost was Georgia. Trump and the other defendants charged in this indictment refused to accept that Trump lost. That's what they do. I mean,
no. People bitching about the fact that Gore actually won Florida, or that Hillary Clinton won the popular vote, or that they stiffed people in certain areas and tried to slow the vote. Doesn't matter. None of them tried to override it legally. You can bitch all you fucking want. They're not being charged with bitching about losing it. They're not being charged. He's not being charged with saying it was rigged and stolen. None of it. It's the coordination behind the scenes that they're getting in trouble for.
Yeah, they protest every presidential election.
It doesn't matter. Again, there's some people that will accept stuff. There's some people that won't accept stuff. It doesn't fucking matter. Legally, they don't do anything to interrupt it. Hillary Clinton didn't file lawsuit after fucking lawsuit, and then when she lost all those lawsuits, gather up the fucking pussy hats and have them storm the fucking Capitol. Although that would have been something to see.
Single time they
Hilarious and adorable.
lose, they say it was stolen.
Mm-hmm.
And
so what? You can say whatever you want. It's the actions they took.
do they really believe it? Because this is the charge. To make this charge stick, you have to prove that he didn't actually believe that.
Well, that's the thing, is they have communications between those folks saying he knew he lost. They've got testimony from his attorney where he says, "Can you believe I lost to this son of a bitch?" They have people in the room with him going, "Sir, we have run this down. There is no evidence. All of this is bullshit. You are being led astray by these people." He was sitting there during these arguments, and he chose to believe people with no evidence over his own attorneys who were insisting that the lack of evidence is the problem.
So now here's my question.
Or at least he was negligent. He should have understood is the other standard they're going to go for here. You know, if I say, look, my lawyer told me I could murder 12 people in the park. That's not a defense, right? You need to have, so they have to prove it's so egregious that he should have known.
Which is where his communications come in and the witnesses of the communications that they had with him, where he said repeatedly in private that he knew he lost, but in public said he won so that he could continue to pursue this plan.
Which is, again, a high standard.
Okay. Again, that shows me, because they always self-diagnose, that they've never believed any of these things that they've said.
Yeah, and yet we never rounded up a bunch of fucking people and stormed up the goddamn Capitol steps or even threatened or suggested something like that. And none of our candidates who were occupying the White House at the time sat there jacking off watching Fox News and seeing cops getting their heads bashed in, going, "Look how much these people love me. I guess they love me more than they love you, Mark."
They are just corrupting the system to corrupt it. And we've known that. But to me, this is proof, because they always do what they accuse the other side of doing.
No one is going to jail for feelings or talking, for speech. It's a coordinated conspiracy, dumb fuck. That's the thing that's missing. That's a huge difference. I don't give a fuck if Hillary Clinton went on 10 or 15 talk shows and went, "I actually won the goddamn thing." It doesn't matter. Because she has no legal recourse. It doesn't change. She's not trying to alter what bills are qualified as actual legal endeavors by the sitting president of the United States in engagement with the fucking Congress. Bitching about something is not the problem. Bitching about it in a way that you coordinate with a bunch of other people to undermine reality and then get a bunch of foot soldiers to fix reality to your lie is the problem.
So they knew in 2000, they knew in 2004, they knew in 2012, right? Or 16. They knew. We didn't win those.
Oh, yeah. Well, of course they knew it. I mean, 2000 was close, so I think some of them do believe they won 2000.
But then you had
all the recounts, and
right.
they showed that they were lost.
New York Times did a recount.
Yeah, they lost. They lost all of these, but they kept coming out.
Yeah, but no one did anyone interfere or refuse to abide by laws signed by George W. Bush. That's the difference. Did anybody act extrajudicially? Any of the people they're talking about? Any Democrats? Name one. Was there? There were a bunch of people who may have on the floor bitched about stuff, but they also argued bills. Those bills went up. George W. Bush signed them, and they became law. And if it became law without their vote, they didn't fucking sovereign citizen the law. If they were pulled over and it whatever the law or the aspect of the law that they had signed had something to do with what they were engaged in, they'd go, "That doesn't apply to me." They didn't. The fuck you talking about? That's exactly what Trump's crowd did. They materially attacked the electoral process with human foot soldiers in a highly coordinated effort.
And saying it anyway.
Correct. So they
and then he stole a bunch of documents. First of all, in these 91, they're gonna drag all this shit back to it's all about January 6th or it's all about fucking Zelensky, which that doesn't even apply in these. The impeachment around Zelensky had zero impact. Like none of insofar as I know, none of the 91 charges have anything to do with that. This is all Jan 6 and the documents case, and then his efforts after the election to manipulate the vote in Georgia, specifically through Raffensperger and Kemp.
refused to accept that Trump lost, and they knowingly and willfully joined a conspiracy to unlawfully change the outcome of the election in favor of Trump.
There you go. That's the point where it becomes a crime, dumb fuck.
To unlawfully change the outcome of the election in favor of Trump.
Yep, there you go. To unlawfully do it. I don't care if you believe it for real or if you're just bullshitting, it doesn't matter. If you believe you can fly, jumping off a building is a mistake. Take off from the ground. But if you jump off of a roof holding on to someone else because you think you can Lois Lane them with you. I can fly as long as I'm holding on to somebody else. And I truly believe that. And you survive the fall, but your victim doesn't. You don't get to go, well, I really thought I could fly. I really was convinced.
That conspiracy contained a common plan and purpose to commit 2 or more acts of racketeering. Now, is there anyone that you know of that's in the news that should be charged with racketeering?
Roger Stone?
No, nobody comes to mind.
I thought that was rhetorical.
I'm just saying. Now, if you look at this and then ask yourself, wait a minute, I remember somebody actually putting together a plan to set the country on fire should they lose. And then they would challenge that in the courts. They would have their people out on the streets, no peace, no justice, no peace, saying that the election was stolen. And then they would get the slate of electors to change, which is exactly what they're accusing him of doing.
Who?
They even ran ads saying you should do this.
Yeah, they weren't changing the people. They were trying to get the electors to change their votes, right, with those ads, which is a little bit different, but still.
Yeah, and it was overt, not covert.
They had no qualms about changing the outcome of democracy and all this crap that they say now. They wanted their outcome. And
it didn't happen, though. Also, all right, I'm not sure what he's referring to. I know that Hillary Clinton didn't run ads to get fake electors. I don't know what the fuck.
They tried to get their outcome with every single trick they could think of to...
No, I'm sure they could think of a lot of tricks, and they stopped short of using any of the ones that were illegal. That's where Trump fucked up.
To accomplish it.
It is really incredible. So, I don't know.
Yes, what you are saying is not credible. I agree.
I mean, I can't imagine, as Stu said, that out of,
91 charges,
91 charges, that they're not gonna hit something.
0 for 91 would be hard to pull off. It's just. I mean,
the odds,
because I think there's a tension between people.
By the way, this is a thought that's been going around with a bunch of people, and the increasing size of this. There's whatever it was, and I think it was just the fact that it's in the 90s as opposed to when it was 70 something. There's this idea that once it crests over that point around conservative circles, they're all saying basically what these guys are saying, which is that there's no way they don't convict him on one part of these or something, which means they are admitting that he's probably guilty of or easily found guilty of one element of these or 2 elements of these. In a racketeering case like this, if you're guilty of one, you're related in the guilt to all of it because you were part of a coordinated effort, whether you signed off on all parts of it or not. And if you're the leader of the fucking thing, everything is your responsibility. If you don't believe me, ask John Gotti.
People who are Trump supporters, right? Which is like Trump's a fighter. He's a survivor. He's going to beat this. They're not going to put him in prison. Of course he's going to win because they see him as a winner, right?
Yes, they are delusional.
And on the other side of this is this, the same, it's instinct in the same people saying, this is the deep state. They're coming after him with everything they got. They will.
That's not two sides of it. That is 100% the exact same side of their brain.
Never relent.
The lizard part.
Until he's put behind bars or punished or whatever. One of those is going to fail here, right? Either he is put in prison and he's not invincible, or the deep state doesn't have the power we've been assigning to it this whole time.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Look, you're painted into a corner. If Trump doesn't get convicted, then the deep state isn't the deep state. Doesn't even fucking... It doesn't qualify. I guess they're not a supervillain after all. Maybe you've just been an asshole this whole time. That's fucking amazing. Imagine now, two of these assholes sort of have to root for Trump to go to jail so that their whole sales pitch about the fucking World Economic Forum, which, by the way, notice how that shit's dropped off recently. Nobody gives a shit anymore. And whatever their new name for the fucking New World Order Illuminati is at any given time, including the deep state, that all that's been bullshit this whole time. If Trump doesn't go to jail, everything they've been selling is nonsense. So now they've got to root for Trump to go to jail so they can go, oh, that terrible swamp.
Because they've got 91 charges right now. If they want to put him in prison and the deep state is what we say it is, they're going to put him in prison, right?
Just can't.
It's on the table for them. They've done the legwork.
All bets are off on anybody.
No, not on anybody, dumb fuck. Good Lord, I don't understand. This is a weird fixation that they have. This is the whole, like, MAGA is Republican, Trump is MAGA, the king and the land are one. I don't get this part of it. This is so fucked up, and it's kind of the most dangerous, like, soft rhetoric they throw around. They bandy this idea around so fucking much. But the idea that if they can go after him, they can go after anybody. It's the other way around. They can go after anybody but him, it seems like. And then, because if they go after him, you guys will fucking burn your world down. In that case, it's fucking nuts. So annoying. So silly. It's a bunch of silly pants. Just remind yourself, it's a bunch of silly pants. But the reality is that these guys, I don't know why they don't grasp that. Why should Trump be able to get away with the shit that he's gotten away with? Why are you okay with the fucking Access Hollywood tape? Why isn't that alone a disqualifier for you? Why have you chucked this shit, like your entire ethic, in the fucking toilet for this guy, for Donald fucking Trump? I don't get it. And Kathleen was saying Hillary conceded the next day. Trump has never conceded. That is true. That is an ongoing thing. I don't get it. It's so fucking weird. These guys, yeah.
If they put him in prison, I can't even imagine that.
But I mean, like,
why can't you imagine that? Because he's a former president? Could you have imagined if Nixon didn't resign gracefully and shut the fuck up, they would have put him in jail? And the only reason he didn't go to jail, even after he resigned, was because everybody, we had enough problems in the world between Iran and the Cold War and all kinds of shit. You don't need to have that kind of fight out in the open. You don't have to air your family's dirty laundry in that situation any further than you have to. The guy will go away quietly. Fuck him. That's fine. That's why. But short of that, if he'd have stuck in there, he'd have gone to fucking jail. There would have been a goddamn, a huge impeachment trial that would have been gross. Republicans themselves would have kicked him out because this is just, he hired dudes to do a break-in, for fuck's sake. Like baseline criminality. In the same line of Donald Trump shit. Why shouldn't we have a country where one of our leaders can, our former leaders can go to jail if they do this much shit. 91 fucking charges against this asshole. Every time he turns around, he's like, I have every right to commit these crimes. He just brags about it. And you guys are fucking shocked that he's ever going to ride the FAFO train.
Because I have that same feeling of like, I can't even imagine. It's not possible. This is the United States of America.
No, but it is possible.
And
well, that's what happens in the United States of America when you elect a serial sexual assaulter who's a complete fucking grifter and a lifelong loser and is in hock to some of the worst fucking people on the planet. There's a direct fucking through line.
Also, there's
the only reason these guys are confused is because they have blind spots where his evidence are. Look, I'm sure I get accused of this around the Hunter Biden laptop shit and Joe Biden himself, but I have not seen anywhere near the material evidence that I would need to convict any human being around Biden and Hunter and any of that shit. But with Trump, it just stacks like fucking cordwood everywhere. For fuck's sake, Mar-a-Lago is a rental property where members can allow friends of theirs to do wedding parties, and the guests don't even have to be known by the member. They don't vet every fucking body. And the big area where they have all these weddings is like 30 feet from the door to that storage room, and the bathroom was right next to it. They stacked this shit in fucking Pine Hall. There was a woman pretending to be a Rothschild running around the fucking place. She got pictures with Trump and Lindsey Graham. And what do they got? A couple of times when Joe called Hunter on he put him on speakerphone when he was at a business meeting and he went, hey guys, how's the fishing? That's it. That's the comparison. That's our one-to-one. By that standard, to these assholes, Joe Biden is the most corrupt criminal president we've ever had. But Trump is an innocent victim who's being railroaded by the deep state. Just get the fuck out of here.
91 charges. Now, maybe there's a chance, right, that they get him on something that's smaller that doesn't result in prison time, right? Like, I think that's a legitimate possibility. I think, and I know he says he's not going to do this. I think it's a legitimate policy. He winds up pleading out of some of this and just saying, yeah, whatever, guilty, and then goes on the campaign trail and says, I wasn't guilty. I just obviously said that, his version of that statement.
Yeah, but part of his plea deal will be you can't do that. You can't lie about your plea agreement in public.
Look, I wanted to get this behind us. I don't think it's out of the question that is the end of this.
Because effectively by doing that, he would be violating the terms of the plea deal because he would not be pleading guilty. Nolo contendere is maybe how you do it, no contest. But the problem is, I don't think you avoid prison time with that kind.
Stays out of prison by pleading to something.
So there is a new poll out that shows 12% of the U.S. population, that's 30 million people, 12% believe that violence is warranted to prevent Trump from assuming the presidency. So 30.
Yeah, how many maggots believe that Jan 6 was justified and next time they should come bearing arms? The fuck are you talking about? Far more Trump voters believe installing him would be worth the violence. If they thought they could. The problem is they don't think they could fucking win.
Million people in America believe violence is okay to stop him.
Gosh, if I were you, then I would try to find somebody who believes in the policies of that guy, but isn't that guy, and then try to get him elected so that you could have what you want, but you don't have to have the I guess, anti-Trumpers violently opposed to this person.
From being the president again. Violence. That's almost double the number of people who believe that violence is warranted to make sure that Trump does become president.
So 15 million people believe that would kill for Trump. Okay, so effectively, what do you think the odds are? It was like women and men. All the women are like, Yeah, I think so. I think violence is warranted. Half the uh, people who are pro-Trump or Republican, like only the men said yes.
So you have 12 and about 5.8%. The left over double the amount of violence or violent people.
Yeah, well, we're all. I mean, you can see us. It's all. You know what it is? When you start clamoring for like school lunch programs and stuff like that. It just it gets you kind of. I don't know. It gets like you feel like just. It's just a thing.
I believe that, and yet we're the ones made into the violent ones. We're the
No, you're not, Glenn. We don't think you're violent. Simmer down. You're fluffy.
ones made look like we're angry.
Asshole. I don't know what we is. You sit for a living. The people we're concerned about are the people who stormed the fucking Capitol.
No.
By the way, if the poll is even real, yes, I agree. It's a lie. I would say that's a Rasmussen poll.
Oh, you have twice the number of people that want to go into violence.
Why are we twice as tough as you guys? I don't understand.
That's how crazy your side is. And
it's weird. We have twice as many people who think violence to keep Trump out is necessary, and none of them showed up on Jan 6 to like attack. Shouldn't there have been? I don't know how many people attacked the Capitol. 3,000 people. Why weren't there 6,000 lefties that showed up? Because we all believe that.
I will tell you, the 5% that want violence on the streets, they're just as crazy as the left. There's no place for violence in the street.
Agreed. That's why Joe Biden got elected, by the way, because he was against the violence.
No, none.
One of the reasons.
None. And anybody on the right who thinks that's going to work out well for you, you will be the death of the republic. You'll be the death of the republic.
Or Republican Party and yourself, because apparently you're outnumbered. Although I will say they are armed to the fucking teeth.
Period. But it's interesting to me that the ones who are preaching peace, 30 million of those who despise Donald Trump, 30 million think violence is justified to make sure he never becomes president again.
Why don't you post that poll and let us all know so we can look at it and define violence or self-defense or political, like physical, again, violence is violative. Self-defense is not. And defending the republic or defending something is very different than opening fire on a crowd of people.
It's so disturbing. And Glenn,
I agree. Hold on one second. Family message coming in. Give me 1 second. I have a...
I don't know. Going back to the way the founders
There we go. Now I'm working. Okay, good. My girl's flying back, and their flight is delayed, so I've got to pick them up and anything like that. So I guess I see the audio's good. Quit it.
Screw this all up.
There we go. So anyways, that I had to check in with them. So all's well though. I just miss my girl. She's coming home tonight. So there you go. What else? That's it. Let's just finish up this ridiculousness, and if we can, just the lameness of this. This is such a. This is the real purpose of the endless Trump indictments. What is he talking about? You think in the title of this? Anybody know? Is it? I feel like I should put a poll together. Do we have one of those? Yes, I should have one of these over here. Let's see. And a poll. What is Beck's purpose? Let's see. I don't have time to do that. It's weird. Okay. What do you think it is? I honest to God don't understand what the fuck he's talking about with the title of this thing, and I don't think it has any genuine meaning. I think they're just blathering. But they're trying to float these two main arguments, which is they're just doing this to keep him out of office because they're scared he's going to win. Blah blah. But the other one is they're threatening MAGA, and they're threatening conservatives that don't you dare think that you can, I don't know, elect Reagan to 2 terms, or elect George W. Bush to 2 fucking terms, or elect Trump to 1, or whatever the fuck. Like, I don't get it. And that it's been going on for years.
Back in the day. It seems to me they had several different ways to deal with a situation like this, right? The first one was...
There was no situation like this. There has never been a situation like this. This is unique to Donald Trump. This is farther than Nixon went.
It was impeachment, right? Mm-hmm. If you believe your president has...
They did. They impeached him. And Mitch McConnell said, he's out of office, so we don't believe that it's necessary to remove him from office and deny him the ability to run again. And criminal courts and civil courts are the way to handle this, and that's exactly what's fucking happening.
Done something terrible and needs to be punished. That's the process. They tried that in a haphazard, pathetic way with no evidence.
Mm-hmm. They had plenty of evidence.
And they rushed it through because they thought the emotion would help them, just like they try to push through a gun bill after a mass shooting, right? They tried to do. It didn't work. And this is throw the spaghetti against the wall, attempt number 46, to see if they can get something on him. The other thing that the founders put together, which was pretty helpful, was elections, right? Like, we have opportunities to make these decisions. If you believe Donald...
Yeah, but... They also put a part in that says if you engage in an insurrection, you cannot run for office, for the very reason that you had like the Southern split, where there would be enough people who were pro-slavery still in the fucking country that might run against somebody and manipulate the electorate back when shit was carried by wagon. They guaranteed that anybody who engaged in an insurrection could not run for office because an insurrection would only have strength if it had a certain amount of support. But you don't get to run from within the United States government if your goal is to take it out, is to undermine the very structure of the government. So fuck off with this nonsense.
Donald Trump did something, really wrong here. You can make a decision with your vote, and the American people can hold him responsible.
They did. He lost. And then he attacked the country. And then he stole documents he had no right to.
Responsible for that by not making him president of the United States again.
Here's the difference. The founders
That's what they
believed in the people.
Yeah.
Okay?
No, they didn't. Not entirely. They were hoping to one day, in order to form a more perfect union. They didn't think it started out that way, and they didn't trust that it would automatically fall in line with that. They weren't utopianists.
They believe this is a quote from Thomas Jefferson. The American people will from time to time get it wrong, but eventually they'll figure it out and correct the mistake.
Yep.
Yes, that's what they're doing through legal means.
They don't believe in the people.
Nope.
Otherwise, why would...
What the fuck are you talking about? that all voter suppression efforts come from the right. And I will say again and again, I don't have to agree with you to truly believe your vote should be counted. As long as you're of legal age and legally allowed to vote and you're a citizen of this country, I want you to vote, whether you like what I talk about or not. Period. End of fucking story. And anybody who interferes with your ability to cast your vote should go to fucking jail. Is it too much to ask to have that be an... Can we at least agree on that as a baseline? Apparently not.
Would they lock you up? Why would they say you're a grandma killer if you don't agree with them?
I don't know. Do they have... what kind of evidence did you leave on grandma?
They don't believe in you.
Yeah.
If you're a grandma killer, what the fuck? What the fuck? What is... What? I'm sorry. Is Trump running on grandma killer as a platform? Well, hold on. Back the fuck up. What?
Nope. Otherwise, why would they lock you up? Why would they say you're a grandma killer if you don't agree with them?
What, you don't think grandma's dead, or
they don't believe in you?
Yeah.
Well, no. I know that there are grandma killers out there. Obviously, I don't think there's a lot of them, I guess.
And like the precedent this sets, like I believe,
the other precedence is the wrong part. That anybody who runs for office or is currently running for office is somehow available to avoid legal responsibility for the shit they pull is ridiculous.
We go through this in more detail, but like, is there any chance, Glenn, a local prosecutor in 2025, if Joe Biden loses, is there any chance that a local prosecutor doesn't indict Joe Biden? Somebody in a red state is going to come together and say, wait a minute, there's this charge and this charge and this charge passed through our state.
Knock yourself the fuck out, buddy.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Of course they're going to do it.
Yep. Sure. Give it a shot. And you know what'll happen? You'll try to use the laptop as evidence, the hard drive laptop stuff, and a first-year law student will go, Your Honor, they can't even find the metadata for these. They cannot verify the quantity or the quality of any of the stuff on this, that any of it is legitimate. Therefore, anything they found because of stuff that they found on there should be thrown out as fruit of the poison tree, and clack, it's over. That's that.
No, they won't. The right won't do it.
I don't know.
They should be doing it right now with Hunter Biden. I mean, I can't believe that we're not charging.
Well, that's because you're stupid.
For racketeering. I mean, look at what they're doing.
Story though. Hunter is there's no argument he is legitimately a private citizen, right? And should be charged and these things should be handled. There's no impeachment.
Wait a minute. Trump's a private citizen. Trump is a private citizen. What's the difference? He's not a sitting president anymore.
Process.
No.
For Hunter Biden. There is for Joe.
Well, here's a good idea. Maybe, what I tell you what if Hunter Biden decides to just run for office someplace, Delaware, I don't know, comptroller. He doesn't even have to actually run. He can announce, just put an exploratory committee together. This is just to stop me from becoming the AG of Delaware. They think I'm going to take Weiss's job eventually or something like that. Why not? I'm a lawyer. I'm qualified. Is it now all hands off because he's running for office?
And that's what the founders thought of when they were like, how do we deal with this? And they said impeachment. There's also elections. Those two things are really powerful tools to hold somebody responsible. But like,
yeah, but they also excluded people who engaged in insurrection.
We're in an era now where every president, right or wrong, coming out of these offices, you have to imagine is going to get indicted after this.
I don't give a shit. I don't care what retaliatory shit that Republicans feel like they have to do to every Democratic president out of fealty to Donald fucking Trump. I don't care if there's a local prosecutor in some rando district who wants to charge Joe Biden with a crime he has no evidence of because he's mad that Trump got busted for stealing classified documents and trying to get his followers to storm the Capitol and kill his vice president. Get fucked.
They're just throwing everything at this guy. And look,
No. He is throwing everything at himself. Name one thing in all of these that isn't based on Trump's own activities, shit he engaged in personally, that went over the line and he was aware of it at the time, especially the classified document shit.
you could look at this and you might say, I think he did something wrong. And
yes, something illegal specifically.
if you do, you shouldn't vote for him, right? Like, you should do the opposite.
No, see, Glenn disagrees. Glenn thinks that you should believe he did something wrong and still vote for him, because if fighting the deep state is wrong, I don't want to be right.
Of that, which is vote for somebody else.
I love how they cut off before fucking Glenn puts his 2 cents in. I think that was a smart move on behalf of the folks at the Blaze. Boy, I can't even deal with these assholes right now. Ugh. All right, let me. I've got a welcome. Hi, everybody. Love you guys. Reminder: tomorrow's afternoon show is later. We're back to our regular schedule, Thursdays at 4 p.m. my time. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show, all those kind of wonderful things. I know you can do it. Just give it a thumbs up wherever you are, wherever like, or if you're on Twitch a bit or on Facebook, throw a star my way or a thumbs up or use one of those emojis. If you use the emojis on my broadcast on Facebook, it draws more attention in the algorithm. I just throwing that out there. But I'm not really afraid of any of the shit that they're threatening, that they're going to go after every Democrat after this, because it'll just look like sour grapes, and it'll just attach their embarrassment to a convicted felon who they just remind the world that you were a bunch of suckers that allowed this idiot to wreck your fucking party. 1.1 thumbs up. Excellent. Love you guys. Thank you so much. Do you know your audio drops out when you transition between screens? Yeah, it's a weird thing. I'm not quite sure how to fix that. I'm working on it. It's like a ducking thing, and I don't know where something's ducking. I don't know what the duck is going on. 250 minutes. All right. Look, all right. So, all right. Love you guys. I'm going to take off. I'm going to go continue to kind of, I got to do some home stuff before family gets home. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Thank you guys for the super chats. Thank you for supporting the show. Thank you, beloved patrons. We love you. Enjoy the Discord. It costs us a pretty penny, but you're worth it. It's a great place to hang out and share stories and all that kind of stuff if you're a part of our Patreon community. And then, of course, remember, if you're ever confronted with a choice that you believe is the lesser of two evils, choose less evil. Or choose the kidney. See you tomorrow.